Welcome to Horse Bytes, your go-to source for keeping up with the show jumping world. We have a great show for you this week, covering the first of 4 remaining legs in the Western European World Cup League qualifier from Leipzig, another 4-star out of the new tour in Doha, the first 3-star kicking off down in Oliva to get the first of the Spanish tours underway, and the horses and riders moved over to the grass this week at WEF for another 3-star to ease into the Winter Equestrian Festival in Florida. We're going to go even further into some terminology to help us learn how to analyze and hopefully one day begin to predict the outcomes in our top sport, as well as discuss a global shift in equestrian fashion. But first, let's take a look at this past week's big winners. The biggest winner of the week was Ireland's Daniel Coyle and Legacy in the 5-star World Cup qualifier in Leipzig, where he picked up the lion's share of the prize money of €47,500. The 4-star in Doha at Al Shakab saw world number 1 Henrik von Eckermann and Glamour Girl with the win, picking up $50K. The first 3-star Grand Prix of the Mediterranean Equestrian Tour in Oliva saw Belgium's Constant Van Passion and Diaz du Tot take the lead in a 15-horse jump-off, while week 2 in Wellington went to Germany's lightning-fast Richard Vogel and Sidello. Welcome back to Showstopper, powered by EquiRatings. This section of the show looks at what tools we have at our disposal to analyze and discuss the sport using the latest data science and predictive analysis. We've spoken about ELO ratings as a way of measuring how competitive a horse is performing and the quality of opponents they are beating. It is a rating which is developed over time, round after round, and is highly correlated to clear rounds. That means the higher the rating, the more likely a horse is to jump clear. Looking at the top-rated ELO horses coming into a major class is a great way to preview and review a show and helps fans access the sport. Basically, it helps determine their overall chances of jumping well and winning any given meter 50 or meter 60 class. Today, let's introduce another fascinating metric, the CAS, or clears above standard. Golf fans out there will be used to the idea of being above or below par, and this metric is designed with that concept of par or sort of standard in mind. CAS zeroes in on a horse's clear round rate, the actual number of clear rounds jumped. But it also tracks the classes at which the clears happened at and develops what might be considered an expected standard for the average horse. For example, if a horse jumps clear in 10 of 20 rounds, that's a 50% clear rate, half the time. However, perhaps these were courses which saw the average clear rate as being only 25%. The standard you might expect over 20 rounds would be 5 clears, so 25% of 20. Our horse, in this case, however, is performing double the average, which equals a CAS of +5. Let's not get too lost in the math. The key is that we all know that not all clear rounds are equal, and not all 160 tracks are equal. So this metric is like an adjusted clear rate to take that nuance into account. So here's the takeaway. CAS is a great way to measure current form and rewards horses for clears on tough days. It's the actual metric of clear rounds taking into account difficulty, the true statistic. ELO, on the other hand, is a rating and less about form and more about what body of work you've been able to build over the course of months and years. It's the metric of competitiveness and final placing, the true predictor of performance based on all relevant factors. So, if you look at a start list and you have the ELO and CAS in hand, you'll get a good sense of who has the best chances of jumping clear, courtesy of the CAS, and who's most likely to win, courtesy of the ELO. Both will give you an idea and a conversation starter as to how the class might unfold. We understand these concepts might be new and complex, but as we kick off the 2024 season and head towards the Olympics, these metrics will shine a light on emerging stars and seasoned champions alike. They're not just numbers, they're tools for Chef de Keeps to build winning strategies and for fans to engage with our sport on a deeper level. Many teams already work with EquiRatings and lots of shows do too. Stay tuned to Showstopper to get the first look at analysis, explore these ratings, and bring you the pulse of show jumping today. The first time I ever came to Europe, I remember trying horses in original Steuben saddles and equating the brand with traditional European equestrianism. I was always shocked about the longevity of the saddles, and given the fact that I know people who still ride in Steuben saddles older than me, Steuben's commitment to quality is clearly unparalleled. I was first introduced to Steuben's new unique hybrid jumping boots and fetlock caps at Spoga's Top Innovator Awards last year. To be honest, I couldn't believe no one had come up with this concept before because it seemed so intuitive. Combining protection and hinged flexion at the point of the fetlock is a vast improvement from traditional protective horse boots, and retailing around $120, you can't beat the value.
All right, let's take a look at the wild things of the week. First thing up from Florida. Whoa, she's hanging off the side. Let's take a look at that again. She jumps the jump, and then she's way off to the side. Good horse to stay straight and keep on going. It's looking like Europe. That was not very nice. And this would, oh my God, you can see it coming. Look how annoyed she'd be. Whoa, that would be frustrating and cold and wet. Oh, look at this cute little pony. Stay on. Oh, good pony. Those were your wild things of the week.
Do you guys have any funny, crazy videos you want to share with us? Please send us your home videos and get an opportunity to be featured on Wild Things. This week's Weekly Wonder, we're talking about the current global shift towards major fashion houses creating equestrian sports apparel. Even though plenty of us have horses generally flooding our feeds on social media, we've noticed a sharp increase in brands outside of our industry using horses to captivate and inspire their audience, and even going so far as to make equestrian-specific gear. And it's not just the super high-end brands anymore. Now riders and enthusiasts alike have access to affordable luxury. Horses are everywhere these days, and in a beautiful and positive way. One obvious reason for the surge in equestrian-themed marketing is the inherent association of horses with luxury and opulence. Horses have long been linked to aristocracy, symbolizing power, wealth, and a refined lifestyle. By incorporating horses into their branding, fashion labels aim to evoke a sense of sophistication and exclusivity. And although typically associated with classical, old world, often stodgy aesthetics, equestrianism is finally beginning to trickle down to more approachable brands like H&M, Tommy Hilfiger, and Zara, all producing affordable, sport-oriented riding apparel that is both mainstream fashionable and functional. They've enlisted both influencers inside and outside of our industry to promote the products and are finally hitting the market this year. Brands inside of our industry are also capitalizing, with Cavalleria Toscana even collaborating with Saint Laurent to make a line of fashion-forward horse products like polo bandages, saddle pads, and bonnets. With social media playing a pivotal role in amplifying the exposure of both horses and horse sport, brands are able to not only create beautiful, horsey-inspired items, but also capture the horse-loving crowd that can't quite splurge on a $1,600 pair of Gucci riding boots. What's most interesting, however, is what this tells us about our changing industry and some forecasts for the future. H&M released its All-In line, inspired by Peter Fredriksen's famous horse, offering riding leggings for around €65. Tommy Hilfiger is offering a classic approach with sporty collegiate-inspired wear, with riding pants ranging around €190, and Zara pushing the boundary even further, focusing on kids' riding clothes with leggings and show coats costing only $20. These are really exciting times for equestrian fashion because clearly the larger fashion world is taking note and thinks our sport is becoming mainstream and large enough to support the development and release of equestrian apparel lines. The big question now becomes, how will the equestrian brands within our industry respond? Will prices begin to drop with these huge competitors now encroaching on the market? Current riding leggings from top equestrian-focused brands can cost anywhere upward of €275. However, riders are paying those high prices and might view the new mainstream fast fashion lines as not luxury or quality enough. a big thing for aspirational riders wanting to look the part. Time will certainly tell how these lines do in a commercial sense, but it's a good sign for our sport in general that the larger fashion industry is taking note and believes the market is large enough to sustain sales. That's a look at this week's top highlights. Stay tuned next week for a behind-the-scenes look at the many winter tours going on across the globe this time of year, and a wrap-up of a huge week in show jumping with no less than 7 top competitions as 2024 is in full swing. Meet us here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central European Time, noon Eastern Standard, and stay tuned wherever you get your socials for constant updates and clips from our show. Drop your comments below, and we'll be sure to answer as many as we can. And follow along all the action as it unfolds here on Horse Bytes, your go-to source for keeping up with the show jumping world. Hey guys, Flying Feathers here. Follow us wherever you get your socials and be a part of the Horse Bytes community.